Welcome back, friends, to Occultists Anonymous, sponsored by Roll20, The Onyx Path, and viewers like you. Thank you to our patrons who support us monetarily, and hang out with us, and give us a little bit of cash that I now no longer have any excuse not to figure out mic arms. Like, I'm set. I don't have decorations on the wall, but I have no more excuses. I need to figure out some of that stuff ASAP. Sorry, stalling while Patreon reloads because, you know, these people like to change their
stalling.
People like to change their names. So just let me have a chance. Okay, there we go. So special shout out to Adele, Al, Alan Michael, Alexander, Algos, Bernie, Blood Angel, Brandon, Doc, Emil, Graves, High Arch. Jack, James, Jenny, John, Josh, Julian, Cat Feathers, Crazy Man 1772, Melissa, Michael, Milo V3, Moku, Noba, Orange Turtle Without Jello, Perry, Puppeteer, Ramon, Roviskrat, Ryan, Sebastian, Cinna, Serenus, Terry, the Orgy Cleaning Crew, Thomas, Vortex, Weiss, and Zoltan. Orgiastic was the term. Orgiastic, as in like an orgy, not actually an orgy. It is still just a nightclub. Thank you all for supporting us.
My magic, it certainly could have been.
It probably could have been, but I'm not sure.
It's only got one dot of life.
Yeah. I don't think anybody was there quite willing to just go that nuts. Everybody enjoyed themselves, but you know. Well, with mine, yeah. I guess with mine, technically, she could have nudged things in that direction, but I don't think Atratus is like, aha, creepy voyeur or anything like that. Anyways, moving on before we get into
are you a sex pervert?
Very, very awkward conversations that is not within the purview of this chronicle. Oh boy. So yes, thank you all for joining us. And as always, if you're interested in supporting us, you're already doing it. You're watching the show. Share with a friend. Let them know. You know, tell them, hey, there's this really cool game, Mage the Awakening. I think you'd like it. Come watch these nerds play it, and then maybe we can play it together. The more people playing Mage, that means the more people who are running Mage. It means I will get a chance to run it or to play it again. Thank you again, Chris. Drifter is in the back of my head a lot going, hey, can I come out and play again?
Every time you say Drifter, I just think Drifter Pony Club. And it's a terrible, terrible cursed pun in my brain.
I'm not familiar with it, and I don't want to know.
Driftless Pony Club is a band.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. Just I'm uncultured.
Yeah, the way you said it, I thought it was like some sort of a furry subcult or something.
No.
Yeah,
what?
MLP. I was straight into MLP.
What is going on at the start of this episode, y'all?
I don't know. Regardless.
We got
orgy talk kind of set things up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yes, regardless, if you're watching the show, if you're sharing it with friends, if you're hanging out, you're already supporting the show. Do not feel pressured to join us on Patreon or anything like that. You just being in the comments, coming by Twitch chat and watching us live, all that kind of stuff means a lot to us. It is very cool to have you guys as part of our wacky little chronicle. Cool. So when we last left off, the Cabal had been at the Concilium meeting showing off that, hey, we're masters in some new arcana, and Atratus was brought forward on charges against the Lex Magica, which I should clarify very quickly for the audience. The Lex Magica is literally all the laws for the Concilium. So if you break any of them, they're bringing you up on charges against the Lex Magica. And in this particular case, it was a gold law, which are basically ratified across all the Concilium. Don't do magic in front of sleepers. That's just one of the big ones. But you could break, I think they're called the iron laws or the bronze laws, iron laws. It's like, hey, we made an agreement to do this thing and you broke it. Oh, you broke it. You're being charged by breaking the Lex Magica. So it's a broad term. But yeah. And was sentenced to basically fix what she broke.
Community service.
Yes, definitely some form of community service. In this case, instead of providing service to the Concilium directly, she's instead basically going to fix what she broke. And so with the sentencing kind of ending, and there's probably some more other things going on, But Borsine does bring you a little manila folder with a couple pictures and some basic pertinent information for a Leslie Booth, Billy Allen, and Charlie Fisher. And basically, these are the 3 sleepers that the Silver Ladder have determined were actually persistently harmed by the breaking points that they had at the nightclub that night. There are other people who had little breaking points that they just kind of shrugged off, but these are the ones who, in game terms, had a dramatic failure with their breaking point, which means they get a special condition that is persistent. And so basically, hey, these guys are having a really bad time right now, and we'd like you to fix them, which may require some work. Fortunately, that's Atratus' thing. And I don't know, is there anything else you guys do at the Concilium meeting while you're here? Anybody you need to, like, oh, hey, I need to have a conversation with so-and-so, or anything like that?
I don't want to talk to Moonkeeper.
You do or don't?
I do.
Oh, okay. I was like,
So he said,
no,
I don't
just tell me
want
that
to.
you don't.
No,
Like, are you avoiding Moonkeeper?
I want to talk to Moonkeeper.
Friendship ended with Moonkeeper.
Yeah. No. And actually, I mean, does, bring up a good point. Like, Moonkeeper and, Wyrd have coffee every now and then, and, chit chat and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yeah. I want to start working another set of doors.
Oh, okay. And what are you planning on doing?
Talking a little bit about our recent run-in with the Thyrsus.
Oh, the Stalker?
Stalker, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And just sharing a little bit of my perspective on it and that kind of thing, and looking for his opinions. I mean, Word's processed that all, but I'm giving him a chance to, express opinions about that whole thing.
Sure, but what
are you
is
trying to accomplish?
Yeah, what is the end goal? Why are you opening these? Because I have to determine how many doors.
Sure, because I'm planning on getting another dot of ally.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Which fortunately is easier than last time. Which is actually one of the very, very scary things about doors and why I like it. And you don't necessarily need to use magic every time. So if an attempt succeeded by opening doors, which you did, subsequent influence attempts begin with one fewer door. And you will always have at least one door to get through. Righto. Cool. So that's easy. And then I have to remember here, where are we at? I think you guys are still on a good impression level. So it's still, you can only do so once per day. But cool. And what are you rolling to kind of nudge and influence and, show that, hey, we're buddy-buddy, right? And, we can do favors for each other and stuff like that.
Let's try presence and persuasion.
Sure.
I did roll.
Hold, please, while Roll20 tries to figure out what it's doing on Friday night. Hey, there we go. 6 dice, 1 success, which is all you need. Cool. All right, got that written down. Whoops, let's make that private. No letting the players know. Which actually, come by Discord, guys. This weekend I might have some interesting news about Conca. But we'll worry about that later. Not going to talk about it now. So cool. With that, you have little chit chat with him, over some hors d'oeuvres, and a little bit of conversation. But otherwise, Songbird or Atratus, is there anything you guys are doing? Cool. I imagine Atratus is like, go ahead.
I would want to sort of feel out, because I don't really know what I'm allowed to do to help these people. Like, if I broke them with magic, I feel hesitant using magic to fix them.
Gotcha. A very, very easy conversation with probably actually Hiza. And basically it's like, no, we understand you may need to use magic. The issue is the obvious nature of magic. So, if you say, for instance, delve into their own Euros to go directly to the source, or something of that nature, which isn't even directly magic, but and bear in mind, doing magic inside of sleepers and Euros is kind of sketchy, so do be aware. But that's that's the forefront thing. Come by my office tomorrow, and I have a little bit of experience with this, just as even fixing up some of the folks who have seen things upstairs in the Athenaeum, and just needing a little help. But we can definitely have a conversation about it. It's not my specialty, not the way it is yours, but I can give you some of my experience. And yeah, but we understand that you will probably have to use magic to fix magic.
I've never had to use this on sleepers.
Yeah. It'll be tough. It'll be a new challenge for you. Take notes for the future, and pass my knowledge on through you onto your legacy. I'm sure it will assist them.
Okay.
And Songbird,
Dylan,
standing next to Hadramia, looking impressive until. All right, it's time to go. Bye.
We good? Y'all good? Anybody got any Obrimos questions?
No.
All right.
No. Bye.
Gravity goes that way.
Most
Easy
of the
peasy.
time. Yeah. Meanwhile, there is one snarky space mage who goes, actually.
Well, actually.
Yeah.
Well, for you, it goes that way now.
Yep. So cool. So yeah, you guys wrap up. There, and we do talk about people getting mastery. Technically, a lot of everybody is showing off their various accomplishments. So even like Nako is coming forward and showing off some new levels of spirit magic and stuff like that. Oh yeah, like everybody's progressing. But the big ones that everybody's like, oh damn, is when somebody reaches that mastery level. But because those are the ones that catch people's attention, because most people make only to one. The people who end up making 2 and 3, you make 3 and then people start to get nervous. Like, all right, you need to pump the brakes there, or where are you headed? What are you up to? Yep. So cool. You guys make your way back home, which is now a lot easier. All your trips out places are always just one way, because Wyrd is like, all right, we're going home. Cool. Whoop. And off back to the Rookery.
Just to make a point of it, Wyrd would always make that offer.
Oh,
but
yeah.
if people want to take an Uber or whatever, that's fine.
For sure. But yes, you all kind of make your way home to the Rookery directly, because that's the place that Wyrd can drop people off at, and then everyone makes your ways elsewhere, unless there's anything you guys are doing now that you're out of the Concilium. Or out of the meeting. Technically still in the Concilium. Okay. Cool. So yeah, the next day, we pick up. Let's go ahead and do 2 quick rolls real quick. Hey, Songbird, do you want to finish your road?
Sure. And I reread my notes, by the way, and it is persuasion.
Okay.
Just get 1.
Yep. 5. Nothing with exceptional successes other than, hey, you've made more progress than normal. But I think 90% sure. We can definitely double check.
I think you're done, right?
I am definitely done. I only had 1 that I needed at that point.
Right, and that's why I was like, let's just go ahead and do this quick roll.
Yeah, okay, you're right.
And then I think you now spend something. I think it's like a willpower dot or willpower point. Let's see here.
Point of willpower and an arcane experience.
Arcane XP. Yep. Cool. And just a quick reminder for everybody at home, because I totally remember, and I do actually remember it. He's making a place that allows for better summoning effectively. But go ahead and walk me through, because I'm kind of curious, what is the persuasion yantra? The persuasion mudra.
The mudra?
Mm-hmm.
It is literally like convincing the fallen world around you to peel back its layers and let the supernal through.
And is that like a kind of like, it's a mental conversation that you have with, the fallen world, or
I imagine it's actually verbalized.
Cool. It has verbal components. You guys can blame this guy for the verbal components. Yep. But let's be honest. This is also not a spell.
If you're doing athletics, like you're actually doing physical things. You're doing somatic components there. So
right. And now one of the things they mentioned about athletics is just like some muscle clenching. You don't necessarily need to be moving and stuff like that.
Bro, I did not need you to put the image in my head of someone doing kegels to cast a goddamn spell.
That was all on you, sir.
Nope. Muscle
Thank
clenching.
you for dragging us all there with you.
You're welcome. I'm here to do what I do.
But
it's because we mentioned orgies at the top of the show.
Yeah, it's fair.
Somebody fucked up.
Yep.
But yeah, to reiterate what the spell itself is to literally like peel back the layers. And we had talked about it probably requires like it has to be cast within a domain.
Mm-hmm.
For it to even come close to working.
Verge. Even because the domain's yep.
Somewhere that's already helping you get through a little bit of that. And then it's probably got a pretty hefty mana cost too.
Yeah, which I imagine is probably one mana per rank of entity, maybe?
Yeah. Probably something like that.
Because I was going to say per size, but yeah.
Who knows what the size is? So
exactly, yeah.
But yeah, and then literally just giving creating the most supernal place possible in the fallen world.
Right. Which, and the end result is bonus to summoning rolls, or I'm trying to remember what it was.
I didn't actually come up with the mechanics for it. I was going to leave that all in your court.
Okay, cool.
For me, it's mainly a story thing.
Sure. Oh, I dig that.
It's another piece of the puzzle of creating my project.
Right. Which I actually, fortunately, have an idea, because I thought you gave me the idea. But fine, it's my idea. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, we're actually, I imagine I have made this rote. I will probably now cast this because you're going to do a summoning. Okay, cool.
It'd be not here. It'd be with Hadramiel, though.
Right. So yeah, you get on the horn, chat with Hadramiel, and basically arrange for, hey, when can we meet up? Because I imagine it's probably going to be at the Rookery, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Hadramiel basically schedules this like, hey, no, I'm currently busy, but yeah, we can meet up tonight, and do that. And then Wyrd, just because you can do it once per day, if you want to go ahead and roll again to kind of be buddy with Moonkeeper. So like I said, that's once per day thing. Because I imagine after that, we're going to get deep into Atratus doing some shit. Cool. All right, and updated. Whoops. I say that. There.
How many ally stats are y'all now?
She's only at 1 currently.
Nope. I got 2.
No, yeah, 2. Excuse me. Cool. All right. Yeah, okay. With that, Atratus, I guess, next morning meeting up with Hiza.
Yeah, I'm going to dress as normally as possible.
Try and fight down the striking looks.
Yeah, also because, I don't know, this seems like a somber occasion somewhat, so it's we're not trying to be flashy, it's you need to go out and actually, get close
Well,
to
the
people
good
and
news
help
is
them.
your wardrobe's already black, so Songbird is good.
I was thinking the same, which I'm sure is kind of funny because for he's a, when you open the door, he goes, all right, I don't know that I like this look on you. But yeah, come in. And, like I said, he's always got that, I'm the cool professor, vibe, but you guys kind of sit at the little armchairs that he's got and kind of walks you through stuff. And basically, he gives you the mechanics of and concerns of going into a sleeper's Oniros. First off, it's a naturally hostile place. There's there is a daemon, but it's going to be kind of wimpy, and it's not going to be all that interested in, awakening or it's going to view you as an intruder, unless, of course, you manage to connect with the daemon and partner with it. But even then, you're still dealing with paradox. I'm double checking here. Not invisible entities.
Is it easier when they're sleeping?
Technically, it doesn't matter. Converges, domains, runes. Where's the astral? There we go.
Because I know I can affect dreams and send people messages that way.
Mm-hmm. Which can help nudge and adjust. Where is the systems? There we go. Astral path. Sleepers Onirai reflect the curse to agree that all magic cast in the Killers Oniros is a paradox risk. Bear in mind, your legacy doesn't matter. And then if you are killed by the Oniros by its contents or native Goche, you don't suffer soul shock. You just wake up in the material realm disconnected, but can meditate and just recover. So it's fairly safe to go into an Oniros. It's just the paradox part that gets dangerous. So, he's like, it's best to try and handle things physically and through conversation and making your way through the chambers of the Oniros to find whatever you need to fix and confronting it and trying to work through it with the daemon and, if necessary, beating up the representative or the thing that is, messing them up. I don't know, what is particularly wrong with them. The investigation was done by the Silver Ladder. I'm not privy to it other than the events. But yeah, going in there, you may want to take the members of the Cabal, or if you're careful, bring in some Goche of your own as backup. But that can get kind of sketchy because if they get lost in their Oniros, that sleeper is going to have some hell of some changes coming. If that Goche basically gets lost in there. And of course, you could take your students, but buddy system, be careful because it's very easy to do worse than has already been done.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about, is making it worse.
Mm-hmm. On the upside, people are naturally fairly resilient. So long as you're not literally tossing Molotov cocktails at their memories and, stabbing the memory of their father and things like that, it'll be okay. My suggestion is locating their daemon if possible. Personal experience, sleeper daemon are guerrilla warfare fighters. They don't want to show up. They're going to throw dream agents at you. They're going to put you in dangerous scenes. But if you can make your way through or parlay with them or just show that you're not leaving, something that forces them to confront you directly. Listen, I went into an absolute roller coaster of a kid's memory and met their daemon who appeared as Jiminy fucking Cricket. But once I explained what I was there for, Jiminy literally rode on my shoulders so we could fix the kid up. So it is the scariest and most wonderful place is the human Oneros. And a sleeper's one is really dangerous for us because we tend to rely on spells. So that said, before you go in, bolstering yourself mentally or socially is probably a good idea because that way when you get in there, you're throwing more of a punch. But otherwise, yeah, take it careful and take your time. Be careful. It's the biggest thing I can give you.
Okay. That's helpful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Of course. And, like just about anything you or your Rookery do, report back. I'm always curious. Do you have any other questions for Hiza?
Not right now, no.
Okay, cool. On your way out, you spot who doesn't quite look like she's actually doing anything so much as standing around and reshelving the same 3 books, Oceans in Under Mountains, who kind of looks over and goes, "Oh, Atratus, so nice to see you." And it's like, she waiting in ambush. It's very obvious.
Hi.
And she comes, "Hi, let's go into my office." And just to not drag it out, she basically is like, "Are you okay?" And is just checking in on you because she saw what happened at the Concilium, and they weren't, pushing you around too much. Are you okay? Kind of stuff. But generally speaking, coming from the Mysterium side of things, and just kind of, because she doesn't have a spot on the Concilium, but within the Mysterium, she runs the Athenaeum, and she's coming from it that, hey, do you need help? Do you need support? Do I need to get you somebody you can talk to? That kind of she's very, very maternal kind of leanings and stuff like that. But otherwise it's just me going, "Oh yes, Oceans Under Mountains does still work here."
Yeah, she's the boss technically.
She's the curator, so her big thing is taking care of that. And
working on fixing what I messed up, and then I'll work on myself, I guess.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, and if you ever need somebody to talk to, I'm more than happy to chat with you. And I have, and kind of leans over, I have a nice little spirit mant set away in the shadow. If you need just a day to get away, it's got a hot tub. There's no distractions. You can just get out for a little bit without actually having to leave New York. I use it, every now and then when just things are hectic. I go on a business trip and just have a day away to myself, and then you come back and I feel refreshed. It's great.
I might take you up on that.
And she is thoroughly surprised. She's like, oh, cool. Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah. Yeah. But otherwise, yeah. But I realized I was like, actually, there's some spirit stuff that Atratus is probably like, ooh, I could actually, I wouldn't mind that. So, otherwise, what is Atratus's plan on dealing with these poor, unfortunate sleepers?
I am hesitant to want to go meet them in person because they would probably remember me.
Mm-hmm. If you look the way you did before.
Yeah. You're muted.
Striking looks has a drawback for a reason.
Yep. Just to remind you, for entering somebody's Oneros, you have to do it by way of Domain, Hallow, or Signes. And Signes are like basically the shortcuts to Temenos or stuff like that. So you would need to be in a Hallow or Domain in order to enter their Oneros directly. The other thing, and actually, Heza definitely would have brought it up, being the space mage that he is. The other way to get into somebody's domain is kind of difficult, but you can do it remotely, is going into the Temenos, and while they are thinking a particular thought, finding the connection, their thoughts and conversation to the Temenos, and using that to get into their Oneros. It's sketchy, it's iffy, but if you don't want to physically get hold of them, if you don't want to abduct them in their sleep or something like that, that's a possibility. I also have some out of character suggestions, but I'll leave things to you, and unless you're like, hey, lifeline, I need some help. But and then of course, obviously, you have Songbird and Wyrd and Q and Dreadnought and Neko and actually, Network probably be very useful for it too. So you've got a lot of folks you can pull in on.
Yeah, I will float that, go back to the Rookery and mention it to everyone else and see if anyone would be interested in helping. If you want to see this, I feel like the other Ebon Phoenixes would be good ones to take along.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, Network is 100% on board. He's like going into people's minds and souls. Yes, every time. And for him, it's part of the obsession. It's like I protect New York. I am New York's daredevil, sort of. But hey, it's your fault for making him blind. So.
You did this.
But Songbird or Wyrd, leaning into diving the Oneros of sleepers.
If I'm invited, for sure.
I got my own stuff going on.
It's kind of what I was thinking. Songbird is not one for Oneros diving. But I know Wyrd digs it.
Wyrd does, so.
Yep. Now, the one thing I will point out here at 8:16, because we will probably only just get started on things, I have 100% set this up in the event that Wyrd and Songbird are not in character available and interested. They're NPCs for you guys to actually play for once for going into an Oneros between Q, Dreadnought, and Network. So that's a possibility, because I imagine this first part today, we're going to be like, okay, how do we get these sleepers somewhere where we can get
this? Yeah.
Right. So yeah, do not feel like Songbird or Wyrd have to be like, oh yeah, we'll be here. So now I know Wyrd is like, hey, I actually did go Oneros, but I don't know if, Wyrd is very much into, I want to delve into a sleeper's Oneros versus
I think Wyrd would approach it more from the point of I want to make sure that there's an adult in the room kind of thing. No offense.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's however. So cool. Wyrd, Atratus, Q, Dreadnought, and Network. So yeah,
that's if she's invited. She wouldn't try and insert herself into it or anything.
Yeah, I think Atratus said, everybody is invited.
Okay, cool. So we're 5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to increase empathy, because that's how I think will be the best way to interact with their souls.
Mm-hmm.
Where is that spell?
It's enhanced skill. Unless somebody doesn't have the skill, in which case I think you need Mind 4, which you have anyways, which allows you to flat out give a skill.
Okay, so does anyone not have a dot in empathy?
At this point, I know all of the Ebon Phoenix do, because it's required of them. Network.
I have a dot in empathy.
One of these days, I keep saying it, I will put his freaking character sheet in Roll20, but today is not that day. I feel like he does because he's a frickin' Mastigos.
He's got
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
But I mean, even before that,
Oh yeah. 3 in
he's
empathy.
got probably
Please.
3 of them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
true.
I want to increase it by 2 then. So it would give me 5, it would give Network 5. Everybody else could get 3.
3s and 4s, yep. In the meantime, while Ash is working that stuff up for Atratus and the squad. Oh, that is kind of nice though that it did come up to 5. I just now clicked on that. If Songbird happening parallel, meeting up with
Hadramiel?
I have too many NPCs. Need to start killing some off.
No.
Oh man, you say no like that, man. It's just more of an incentive.
Bye, Moonkeeper.
And dude, I really should have done the.
You're supposed to die in the first place. Final destination.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I should have made Network's roles more public on whether or not he was going to awaken or just go insane. But
Sad.
no. So yeah, meeting up with Hadramiel and casting that spell. In my head, what it basically does is for each potency, gives you additional time for them to be in the fallen world. Yeah, basically easing things up, and more or less lets you put those successes into other things. Safe rolls or what's the other thing? Yeah. Cool. Oh, right. And no reach needed for successes. And enhanced skill, pulling that up real quick, is a potency spell, if I remember correctly.
It's a duration spell.
Oh. That's irritating.
Oh, do I need a -6 then to get it? No, it starts with 1, right? All potency spells will start with a 1.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, -2.
Yep.
We'll put it at 3. That's 3 dots then.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Nope, you're good.
Okay,
so
I can have 6.
Mm-hmm.
Lost your mana to go above.
Yeah,
double limits.
you have to take that mana, but you've got the reach for it, so that's not a problem.
Sounds good. So everybody gets +3 empathy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one to do attributes too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's 4.
Augment mine is.
Oh no, it is 3. Yeah, because
it's on the
form
form.
is. Yeah.
Yep.
You just get to pick between 6 attributes instead of 3.
Yep. And you can spend reach to spread it out, which basically lets you lean. In this particular case, for normal people, the astral is pure intelligence, I'm sure, but let me pull the book open just to be sure. Underworld, Shadow, Astral. There we go. Yeah, so for normal people, it's just mental, but for mages, it's mental or social, whichever is higher. So
I do love that Songbird gets stronger in dream form.
Yep.
As presence.
So you could basically just focus on one set of attributes or the other. The other thing is Network can also assist on 3-dot mind spells, and I think Q probably could too. So if you want to like push for some like higher potency and like really go in souped up. Sorry, there's a flex there. Then you
I'm
can
not to flex my
that.
brain.
Yeah, or socials. Because if you're going in and wanting to socialize and conversate with stuff, that might be
I
the
figured
better
we
way
would
to swing.
need to talk to the daemon.
Oh, actually, it won't matter. Because while you're there, you're using that as your power or finesse stat, so it doesn't matter which way you swing. It would just help you while you're outside. You're welcome.
Caught that one.
So, something to think on.
I was probably going to throw it into presence.
Okay.
If they are assisting me, do they roll?
Finesse would be the talking, though, correct? For the most part.
Depends on how you're going about
on your approach, yeah, I guess.
Because if you're doing the Songbird approach to conversations, it's going to be power. if it's the weird way, it's finesse. Actually, no. Weird, I guess, does tend to lean presence, but rather than manipulating people into, stuff.
Yeah, if I do it at a -8, I can get 2 and 2 into like
both
presence and int, I guess.
You would want to do like presence and then either manipulation or wits.
Mm-hmm. Because within your own Neuros, you'll within the astral, you'll take the higher of intelligence or presence, and that's the stat. And then for finesse, it'll be wits or manipulation. Same thing with your defense stat. And everybody's maybe different. So maybe Atratus' intelligence, but Network's presence, for instance. So it'll be kind of iffy.
Well, if you're buffing, then
You pick the stat.
Right, but I mean, like
I'm
by
picking
default,
ones that are good for me.
right?
And then
Which I realize, Network looks at you and goes, "Do you want to handle the mental stuff, and I'll handle the social stuff?"
Sure.
And we'll lay on 2 spells, and everybody benefits, and there's no having to, split the difference. Cool. I will, because we're not diving into anybody's soul today. I'll figure out what exactly Network can actually pull off. But feel free to go ahead and write up yours, because you actually have your current stats and stuff like that. Where was it? Oh yeah, Songbird. Are you writing up your summoning? Okay. You said you were summoning the Seraphim, right?
This one is a potency spell, so the numbers are different.
Mm-hmm.
It starts at 3. It's 3.12.
Starts at your mind.
Okay, so it starts at 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fine. I don't need to change that at all then.
Yep.
I just need the reach for advanced duration, but sure. 6.
Heck yeah.
And that was going into presence, so it's +4.
Oh, you put it all into presence. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And then with an exceptional success, you want to take a condition or an additional potency?
Well, because we're going to pick from both of these lines, right? So Network's going to do the int and wits. So I can do presence and manipulation.
The plan had been the reverse, but it doesn't matter whichever way you would prefer. He will do the other approach, I guess. So if you want to do mental stats or social stats, he'll do the other one.
I was doing the social.
Okay.
I'll take 2 and 2, actually.
Okay.
2 to presence, 2 to manipulation.
Sure.
And
then,
I'd rather have the condition.
Sure. I think it's going to be bonus to... let's do persuasion, that we don't double up with your empathy.
Okay.
Cleansing ritual 2 or 3 dice
2.
off?
And I'm trying to remember. You wanted angels that had, what was the secondary arcana? Both of them?
This one's going to be Fate, the Seraphim.
Okay. So forces and fate.
That's just going off of the written down boons in Signs of Sorcery.
Mm-hmm.
I realize that's not all of the boons things are capable of, but basically there's 2 boons from angels that revolve around artifacts, and one is Fate and the other is Prime.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's right.
And so the prime is going to be Prime and Fate, or
Prime and Matter, probably.
okay, cool. Just writing down my notes for the future.
Sorry,
cool.
I thought we had talked about that before.
We had, but I hadn't written it.
It's been a while, for sure.
Cool. All right. So let's see, where are we at? 8:30. I juggling 2 different things. Thank you, Craig, by the way, for being like, I'm going this way. That way I don't have to do the 3-way split. So actually, I think, yeah, since this will let us kind of round out Songbird's thing for now, do you have it all written up?
23.
Cool. Fire away.
With 5 extra safe rolls.
And we're rolling, shoot, this is the forces one. So Hadromiel is adding his to assist, right?
Mm-hmm.
So add 5 to your rolls.
Cool.
With 23 to get, this should be kind of quick.
19 dice if I spend a willpower. Seems good.
Yeah, it's a wee bit. It should take you like 4 rolls. 5. 11. 19.
Easy peasy.
26. You guys remember when summoning the first supernal took the whole damn day?
Like 8 hours or something. Just knock this out in an afternoon.
So yes, you and Hadromiel working together and to summon Daphiel. And here,
And a duck, hopefully.
Female Daffy Duck in angelic armor. No.
Cursed fan art.
No. Was it blurst images? Yeah. So Hadromiel mentions that this is a angel that he has summoned himself, and is very, very, very into making deals and having representational things, because fate.
Right.
The entity that emerges, kind of out of this, snapping, and we're doing this at the Rookery, right? Yeah, okay. Who basically kind of emerges forward is basically, it is a floating mandala mixed with a bit of a yin yang thing, or actually, what was in the movie? Watchmen. The giant glass twisting fabrial thing that Dr. Manhattan makes on Mars, where all these different pieces are moving in very kind of clockwork, and everything is moving in its, predefined thing. And if everything is moving in that predefined thing, everything gets along just fine. Made of motes of fire. So it is, and the flames themselves do not well, the flames themselves change color, but it is a full gradient depending on the height in the mandala. So as the flames move, they change colors as they move through, starting at like...
So it's an ombre.
Yes, starting at like the deep blue all the way up to just this brilliant white. There's spots of color off to this. Actually, I guess the center would be white. Spots of color elsewhere. Absolutely mesmerizing, thing. The light trickling through underneath the door for everybody who's outside is going, what the fuck is that? And it's like, everyone, like I said, I love the idea that they do, you guys have like the photography booth, development lab of like a little light outside. It's like, no, you're not allowed in. You're not allowed in. Okay, it's green now you can come in. But Songbird and Hadromiel are busy right now, so stay out. The voice that comes out is... we started talking about orgies, and so this is just going to mess things up. But it is a very, like, caressing, sensual, like, feminine voice. And it doesn't seem to come from the center of it so much as in your head. And I'm not going to attempt a feminine, sensual voice. It's just not happening. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I know. And just very calmly, and like you can tell Hadromiel kind of reacting and hearing the voice as well. It says, "Yes, caller. What do you I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. Actually, we'll start around. Yes, caller. I know of your desires. I know what you plan. I have seen your future. Future is plural. This is an arduous task that you put before yourself. We have spoken of it. Now, I think there are many questions that you may ask me. And what do you ask of me today?
I ask for your help in the future if I prove that I am worthy and committed.
What help is it that you wish of me? And stepping back behind the DM screen, you are looking, because I'm trying to remember exactly Songbird's plan, is having them doing the forging, or are they basically kind of lending strength? And because I couldn't remember exactly how it was kind of laying out.
Because I created I had the long-term project or whatever of a like dual summoning circle that was like tied in with, became part of this route as well.
Right.
Is that I will be at the center with my forge and will be literally like, especially with the 6-dot prime spell, like literally channeling all of their power they're willing to give in and through myself to create an artifact.
Right. So in short, in mechanics terms, they're buffing you. You are the one.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just making sure. Okay. You don't see a smile. It's a big swirling thing, but there's amusement in the voice. And mostly because, hey, it's nice to be able to talk to somebody who speaks fluent high speech and says, very well. But my strength comes with sacrifice. And trying to think of how she puts this. In order for me to lend you my strength, I need someone to hold up my burdens for the time. when you summon me next to aid you in your forging, I will need a surrogate for which to lay down my burdens upon, and who will hold them while I lend you my full strength. You watch as Hadramiel kind of does a look over towards you, like, what? Trying to interpret. And, like, this is heavily couched in high speech.
Sure.
And it's definitely one of those things
like,
that...
And it takes Songbird a minute to, like, parse all that.
Right, and
though, yeah.
And more like after this conversation, you and Hadramiel will probably put your heads together to try and translate what exactly she was suggesting and what it will entail. So it's not necessarily something that Songbird would know immediately.
I think I get enough of it in the moment to be able to ask whether this would be permanently harmful to the person.
No. It will just be a great burden to bear. And should they falter and set down the burden, then I will no longer be able to help you.
Oh shit. Fucking oath pact.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of.
All right, I need a fucking person with a shadow name of, like, the Herald or...
But yeah, we'll get some int and occult rules to figure out as you and Hadramiel.
You know, I'm so good at that.
Yep. It's okay. Talk to a mind mage. They can help you.
My first instinct is Colossus.
It's a pretty good one. But yeah, we'll
He's strong.
He is strong, but it's probably not likely. I mean, well, forces maybe. But yeah, it's probably going to be a step beyond a mere mundane weight.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So it's not a solo project anymore.
Oh, I mean, it wasn't ever a solo project to begin with, but yeah. Yeah. And I don't think Chris or Songbird would be surprised if, like, yeah, I'm going to need some assistance to man some bellows, and yeah. But yeah, the motion of this kaleidoscope of, flames starts to slow and kind of reverses backwards slowly and starts to say, do you agree?
I do.
And then unless you stop, she's leaving.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay. And yeah, the same, and it like, thinking back on the event later, you're like, oh, she wound up the same amount of time it took her to wind back. Fucking fate. And yeah, the spell changes, the summoning kind of ends.
So you need somebody to carry her fate burdens or her prime burdens, or...
And bear in mind, when doing this summoning, all you know with targeted fate is knowing that they have prime and have forces and have fate. There's other arcana they may also have, especially when you talk about summoning a rank 5.
Rank 5, yeah, for sure. Yikes.
Yeah, so Hadramiel is over here with, like, pen and paper and, like, mad speed notes, writing stuff down in high speech.
Oh, so Hadramiel have fluent high speech as well?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, considering his obsession.
Fair.
Yeah. And so he's working through writing down everything to basically study and look after. Shifting gears. So, Atratus, how do you plan to get into these Oniri? Well, we'll pick one, and since they are effectively in your for your purposes, they're effectively equally accessible people. We'll start with Leslie Booth. How do you plan to like get these sleepers to a place where you can enter their souls, or do you plan to do the Temenos route and try that way?
I like the Temenos route. My only difficulty on that is figuring out what they're talking about at a given time. So if we could get a connection, we could scry on them, so I would need to go find them,
Yeah, one way or another, you're probably going to have to find them physically, if nothing else, to get the yantra to be able to cast sympathetically on them. But yeah, there's that. The one of the other things is telepathy, but that's up there with casting things that will make them have a breaking point. So. Yeah.
Put a thought into their head and then follow it. I don't.
Yep. There's a lot of ways to do this, and they are all having to be very subtle. And I will admit, this was me going, haha, time to make the Ebon Phoenix work. And there are ways to arrange for things, and two-pronged attack. Let's be clear. To try and nudge things one direction to come at it from another, stuff like that. There's a couple different options, but yeah. So you're thinking first off to like start meeting up, finding them, getting some kind of sympathetic connection to them. Start,
so that we can then have that connection later.
Okay, cool. So very very easy. As you guys.
One thing I'm gonna ask. Wyrd, can I use your mirror?
Sure.
The one that will change my appearance?
Oh, for that, sure. Can't you do that with mind?
Sort of. Imposter has some pluses and minuses. The big minus, you have to target somebody and say, this is what you see me as.
It's not changing how I appear to everyone.
For sure.
Yeah, take that and just. It's not like a drastic change because it's not that spell, but I do look different, so she wouldn't immediately recognize me.
Right. We'll hang on to that because your Gnosis plus life 3, so it's Gnosis plus 3 to actually enact the spell. So tracking them down, though, you have some pictures and stuff like that where they work, I think basically you can probably determine where they work and where they live, because the Silver Ladder are good at that kind of thing. Beyond that, tracking them down and finding them is pretty easy, especially with a Fate Mage around. So you have a couple options, and so meeting up with Leslie Booth because let me take a step back. Are you going to go try and meet up with each of them physically first and then start doing stuff, or is it we're going to focus on one, start to finish?
I'm doing it one at a time.
Okay, cool. That's what I thought, and I didn't want to assume.
Start with this one, do this, see how it works to see if we want to change the approach for the other ones.
Gotcha. Cool. So Leslie Booth works at an accounting building. A very, very 9-to-5 job that like Friday nights, like, hey, now I can actually go live a little kind of vibe, based on the information that you can glean off of some of the stuff provided by the Silver Ladder. You can. Let's see here. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't need to guide you. That's what you know.
I want to sort of hang around nearby and keep an eye out and see like if she's going to a local cafe or something for dinner, or like for lunch while she's on her lunch break.
Cool. Sorry, I looked over and somebody was talking about something was saved for Amku. What are you talking about, Amanda? Are you picking on Amanda? What's going on?
Talking about your sultry voice. He was talking about your sultry voice.
Oh. Anyways, yes, you go to a cafe. Yeah, it's very easy to, especially early morning, or even afternoon, she hits lunch. We ambush everybody at the cafe at lunch. But yeah, able to spot her. She matches her picture. You probably, well, actually not probably, with perfect recall. Oh yeah, I remember exactly who she was. Looking at her from a distance, let me make sure, I'm going to pull up this condition to make sure it's very obvious. She looks basically just at a glance has a kind of glazed over expression. Not like she's like drugged up or anything like that, just is going through the motions and is just kind of not really all there right now, and is just kind of taking it slow. Goes in and you watch as literally walking into the cafe, somebody is kind of barreling towards her, and she gets thumped in the shoulder, rudely, and she just head down, kind of, very not meek, but just not looking in the eyes. And then once they're gone, makes her way in, gets in line, stares up at the menu, watches even getting up to the front of the cafe to order, and there is just a long minute of just staring and then finally ordering. Just very, I think, the negative version of languid, and just very slow, kind of in a foggy state.
I'm going to go up to her basically while she's doing this and just having a day.
Yeah. Sorry. And once you connect with her and start talking with her, she kind of becomes a little bit more animated and kind of looks around, a little bit confused, and then recognizes where she's at, makes her order, and kind of walks over to the side. Sorry, and kind of gets out of your way.
Yeah, just no, you're fine. I recognize this feel.
Oh, okay. Kind of awkward look.
I'm gonna offer to buy her food. Basically, it's just you look like you're having a rough time.
Oh no, I'm fine. It's just normal, normal Mondays, right? But that. Thanks. You guys stand in awkward silence, probably waiting for little cafe
orders.
Plate. Yeah. Gets her plate and kind of walks over and kind of watching to be are you following her? Kind of thing.
Okay, then I'll just sort of chill and eat and keep an eye on her. And I'm just going to try to get her dishes to see if there's any thing left around on them.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, technically, you can snatch up a napkin or something like that.
Yeah, I'm thinking DNA samples on water bottles or whatever, that sort of thing.
Sorry, say that again.
DNA samples on a water bottle or whatever.
Ah, okay.
I need, if you're talking about me doing that, I'm going to need more than that. But if I'm there, I can just basically pull it out of thin air.
Well, actually, that, but actually, her, something that is, a bit of her hair is
actually some sort of physical scrap from her.
Yeah. The water bottle itself would be a pretty useless thing, but something from her. Yeah. Well, yeah. Actually, keeping an eye out for it. Actually, better question: are you bold enough to just like a hair?
No. Just I walk up and like snatch a hair off of her head. No.
Okay, I didn't think so. But yeah, okay. Let's just do a intelligent. Probably.
I could do to see like stray hair on her jacket and pull it off.
Sure.
Which is kind of weird, but less weird than snatching one from her head.
Right. I'm. Sorry, there's something about Craig's like intense face as he's working on stuff, and then just the body shifting, and then back. But yeah, you're able to take care, especially standing that close. And she is not a mage, so she's not super stressed about somebody touching her or taking a hair. A mage would go in full blown panic mode.
Yeah.
But yeah, select a little hair. And I imagine there's a little Ziploc bag and zipped up, a way where people are not watching you collect a stranger's hair. But yeah, and collect a hair sample from her. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But yeah, and then leave her to her meal, and cool.
I really fucked this lady up.
Out of curiosity, do you use any spell to check on her and check up on her like mental state while you're there, or you're like, no, I'll figure that stuff out later?
Let's see. I can do just a quick mental scan on her from across the room, right?
Well, if you cast the spell, yes. The attainment, you have to touch her.
Yeah, I was doing it with the spell.
Okay. Yep.
Just a 1.9 spell.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, okay, there's nothing. It wasn't working. You need instant in range, and what else reaches do I need?
If you want to get into her thoughts further, that's another dot. Otherwise, duration potentially. But you'll have it for a couple
that's
turns.
4 and 4, so that's fine. So this is a potency spell. I get for each level of potency, I get 1 question.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take 3. But it's a potency spell, so I've got 4, right?
Mm-hmm. Because you have mine 4.
Yantra, I'll just use my soulstone.
Sure.
That's 9, and 3 is 12.
Mm-hmm. Oh, nothing for say. I see. Oh, you want an extra question? Or...
Sure.
Okay, cool. So it gives you 5 questions.
No, I don't need 5 questions. 4 is plenty. I guess I'll take another condition.
Cool. Now, quick thing to bring up for you. This is you can take the condition yourself, or you can leave the condition on her and give her some kind of benefit.
Would I still get a beat for it?
She's the one who gets the beat. She's the one who gets the arcane beat, I should clarify.
Will that help?
In the event that she awakens and starts to go through the mystery play, while you are in the mystery play, you have to accumulate enough XP via arcane beats to buy Gnosis 1. That is passing your mystery play. So this is actually one of the ways people help nudge people into an awakening and make the awakening easier. Now, at the end of the day, this is going to be the 1 arcane beat, but hey, we saw what happened in Network.
That's 4% of an awakening.
Mm-hmm.
I would do that. That sounds good. It's just sort of a
right. And notably, I bring that up
towards this,
right?
Yeah.
And so mental scan. I feel like it is withstood by her composer composure, so you won't necessarily have 4 questions. So that's one thing to bear in mind. But you do have the reach for reading her surface thoughts anyways. So condition-wise, well, actually, you tell me, what kind of condition do you leave on her? Because you're being beneficial.
It's 10 o'clock also.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to end this real quick.
Something to just, like, improve her day slightly. Like, if you can have a bonus to write her now.
Persuasion to help her with her next, argument, composure to, not fly off the handle at something.
Yeah, I go with composure. It seems like resolve. Kind of buff that.
Sure.
Yeah, like you seem you could use to be just sort of shored up a little bit.
Cool. And we will talk about what her thoughts are next time. Cliffhanger. Yeah. With that, thank you all for joining us. Wyrd is prepping up a spell. We'll have to cover it next time because we are at the buzzer.
Ribbit. Just any gifts of every time you do that face.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just makes it fun for everybody else. Thank you all for joining us. We will figure out what Wyrd spell is next week. It's probably a quick draw the tarot card to divinate. But come join us. I was actually working on Webweaver, but yeah. Okay. Come join us on Discord, yeetinto.space. Come chat about what you think of what's going on. Come give us your opinions on wisdom and how it works and what you think your personal wisdom would be. I know mine is probably sitting right about 4. And if you want to support us monetarily, that's staylucky.club or patreon.com/occultistanonymous. Also, occultanon.threadless for cool merch. Otherwise, we will catch you guys on the next episode. So YouTube guys, that'll be Tuesday. Twitch guys, that'll be Friday.
Stay lucky.